either of you have much to, do you have any information about the referendum in Australia, the recent one about the...
Stan's been reading
First
up on
Nation?
that.
Yes. Well, I was in Australia for 3 weeks before the referendum.
Oh, yeah.
And two things. The government put huge amount of money into advertising, TV and radio. Amazing advertisements, beautifully done. But all the people that I mix with, now remember I'm with mainly Pauline's family, none of them would talk about it. So that made me think they're going to vote no, which in fact is what has happened. The Aboriginal questions vexed. We have, some of our relatives are Aboriginal, and we know quite a lot about it from the inside. But like last year, every government wants to fix the Aboriginal problem. That's the way they speak about it. And last year in Australia, $80 billion was spent on Aboriginal support of various kinds, which is a huge amount for a very tiny segment of the population. And I think what is now clear is money won't fix it, because they've, a tremendous amount of money. And people are aware of that. And so I was not surprised at the way the vote went. So the government's pushing hard. Ordinary people not saying anything, then they get the ballot box and they vote against it. The Aboriginals already have a huge say, and I think they own about 1/5 of the country. This is in the arid country, the deserts and things. It's all Aboriginal reserves, and if you find a bauxite or something in this peat, you've got to pay them. So there's a lot of money going, but money doesn't fix it. Yeah.
But there's always the them, and you can't undo that. It's like, how can you compare 250, 70 years with 30,000? You can't. There's no points at which those cultures meet. And they don't even think about ownership of land. They were just nomadic. So how, and even in a huge country, you'd think, we can all have our space, but it doesn't work like that. So if we could see ahead to another 1,000 years, perhaps time helps people evolve. My brother-in-law is half Aboriginal, half Thursday Island. So when he smiles, you can actually, you see him, because at night he's really black. And our family, we've had to sit around the table, and sometimes it's been very painful with the Aboriginal question, because my sister and he have 7 children, and they've all married now, just about all of them, and they've married Filipino, Māori, so it's all there. But I notice that the Aboriginal question brings pain to the gathering based on personality, and because each of the 7 children have different personalities, and some are very politically aware, some aren't at all, don't
This is what I was thinking. Do you think they are? Do you think the people in Australia, the ordinary Australian, is educated enough or in the right way to understand the whole historical context of how relevant the issue is, from your experience there, both of you?
Well, things have changed. So I've been away from Australia, and I go back for, say, a month, a year. Last year I was there for a whole year. And the situation with Aboriginals has changed completely. And if you were to have any public function, let's say an air show or any kind of thing, at the beginning, or something which may be a talent quest, the host gets up and says, we want to thank the traditional owners of this land and the tribe that relates here, that it's always acknowledged at every gathering. And that's an enormous change from my childhood. And now, so obviously I'm in my relatives' houses and I watch the television that they watch, and the Aboriginal presence is very high. Now, these people are 1/3 or a quarter Aboriginal, but you can see they are Aboriginal. And they're news commentators, they're singers.
They're fantastic athletes.
Their presence is everywhere. Compared to them, like in my growing up, they were pushed into the shadows. And I grew up in Melbourne. I hadn't seen an Aboriginal person until I was 21.